channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things. And today I am giving you my September TBR. September is when Sapphic September starts, and luckily my friends run it, and they were able to give me the prompts early. They weren't finalized, so I didn't get the finalized prompts until more recently, but I had an idea of what the prompts were going to be, so I was able to plan that a little bit more efficiently. So my TBR today is predominantly for Sapphic September. So I will try to do like I do with Clear Your Shit, where I put the prompt down at the bottom to describe like what the book is, like why I've picked it. And then as always, the cover will be right here, unless it's a book I physically own, which I do surprisingly have 2 of this year. I will go through my regular TBR stuff at the end of this. I just want to talk about Sapphic September first, because it is the bulk of the reading for this month. So, for the first prompt that I have here, we have Sapphic Nights. I will be reading The Afterword by E.K. Johnston. This is a fantasy book. It's been a year since the mysterious God's Gem cured Cardium's king and ushered in what promised to be a new golden age. The heroes who brought the gem home are renowned in story and song, but for the 2 fellows on the quest, peace and prosperity do not come easily. Apprentice Knight Calanthe Ironheart wasn't meant for heroism this early in life, and while she has no intention of giving up the notoriety she has earned, it doesn't pay the bills. She's got time running out, and she may be forced to betray not just her kingdom or her friends, betray not her kingdom or her friends, but her own heart as she seeks a stable future for herself and those she loves. Ulsa Rhett's daughter was never meant for heroism at all. She was a pickpocket and a thief, and she lived hand-to-mouth on the city streets, until fortune, or fate, pulled her into Calanthe's orbit, and now she's quite reluctant to leave it. Even more alarmingly, her fame has made her recognizable, which makes her profession pretty difficult, and she has to choose between poverty and a noose, which isn't particularly much of a choice. Both girls think their paths are laid out, but the God's Gem isn't quite done with them, and that new golden age isn't a sure thing yet. Next up, we have what's going to be a reread. I have a couple of rereads for this also. I am who I am. So this prompt is going to be, it hits a bunch. We've got Toxic Yuri, graphic novel or manga, and then translated work. And I will be reading Killing Me by Akiyama, which is, I don't even remember reading this, honestly, so that'll be fun. I think I read it ages ago. I have genuinely no memory of reading this, so cool. This is about a vampire hunter who is really good at being a vampire, but she is also, or really good at being a vampire hunter, but she's also in love with, or loves to fight with, Miyoko, who is a vampire. Saki has continued to try and kill Miyoko, but she keeps stopping from biting the bullet and ending it all for good. It's hard to tell who's really the prey or the predator in this love comedy packed with a bite, it says. So, again, I don't totally remember reading this, so it feels like it'll be a brand new read to me. Next up, for 2025 release and new to you author, we have Nobody in Particular by Sophie Gonzalez. This is another like night-ish kind of thing. We got royalties anyway. Princess Rosemary of Hinland can't afford distractions. She's working tirelessly to repair her image following a scandal that lost the trust of both her country and her best friend. Unfortunately, when a beautiful and funny new student joins her boarding school, Rose finds herself quite distracted indeed. Attending Brampath College on a music scholarship, the talented pianist Dani expects to be an outcast amongst the wealthy children of the elite, but she is pleasantly surprised to be taken in by her ex-best friend of the princess. The more Dani gets to know her new classmates, the more intrigued she becomes by Rose. When somebody sees something they shouldn't and rumors circulate throughout Hinland, Rose and Dani must either find a way to deflect the ever-increasing eyes on their relationship or end it altogether. Because one thing is clear, if Rose's fragile reputation takes any more hits, the palace will do whatever they must to separate Rose and Dani forever. Are they gonna kill her? I think this was a young adult, so maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Next up, we have Disabled Sapphics, and I will be reading Make You Mine This Christmas by Lizzie Huxley Jones. This is very out of my normal realm of book reading. Super romance book. Like, it's very contemporary romance. This story is about Half, who's kind of had a year from hell and is blowing off steam at a Christmas party. She decides to have a few too many drinks, and then suddenly she's kissing this guy named Christopher right in front of his ex-girlfriend. Everyone is saying that they are apparently a couple and madly in love, but Half isn't sure about that, but they're supposed to go meet Christopher's family, and Half doesn't really have anything better to do other than save her new friend from embarrassment, so she agrees to pretend to be Christopher's girlfriend for Christmas. However, Half meets Christopher's sister and might be more interested in her than Christopher. That would be the Sapphic part of this. So I believe Half is uses a cane and might have Ehlers-Danlos. From my research, I think that was what it was. Hopefully when I'm reading it, I can let you know, but that is what I believe. For Ace or Aromantic Sapphics, and also indie author, 2 different prompts, I will be reading The Language of Roses by Heather Rose Jones. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, while also being a spec, which I didn't expect. And I don't remember, so when I pulled this up, I'm going to be super transparent, I think this is Sapphic, and it seemed like it was when I was reading into it, but when I'm reading the plot, I'm like, maybe it's not. I'm hoping that it falls into this category. And I apologize if it doesn't, but from my research, it seemed like it had Sapphic representation in it, so. Alice is the eldest daughter of a merchant who foolishly plucks a rose from a briar as he flees from home from a terrifying fey beast and his seemingly icy sister. Now, Alice must pay the price to save his life and allow the beast, the once handsome Felipe, to pay court to her. But Alice has never fallen in love with anyone. How can she love a beast? The fairy Perenelle, waiting in the woods to see the culmination of her curse, is sure that she will fail. Yet, if she does, Felipe's sister, Grace, and beloved Eglantine, trapped in an enchanted briar in the garden, will pay a terrible price, unless Alice can find another way. I think it's going to be Grace and Eglantine that are the Sapphic representation, because I was like, I swear this has got Sapphic representation, but I don't know what it is. Okay, next one is going to be sci-fi. For this prompt, I have chosen A Big Ship at the End of the Universe by Alex White. Boots Ellsworth was a famous treasure hunter in another life, but now she is washed up. She makes her meager living faking salvage legends and selling them to the highest bidder, but this time she might have stumbled on something real, the story of Harrow, a famous warship capable of untold destruction. Nyla Brio is the top driver in the Pan-Galactic Racing Federation and the darling of the racing world until she witnesses the murder of another racer. Framed for the murder and on the hunt to clear her name, Nyla only has one lead. The killer also hunts a woman named Boots. On the wrong side of the law, 2 women board a smuggler's ship that will take them on the quest for fame, for riches, and for justice. Space pirates! We love space pirates! For the prompt 40-plus-year-old main character, wow, I wonder whose idea was for this prompt, Landis. I will be rereading Love at 350 by Lisa Peers. I remember reading this and really, really enjoying it. We've got a mom who I think used to be a teacher. Let's see. She is a popular high school chemistry teacher, and she decides to, and home cook, home bake, she decides to join this baking competition, and the ruthless celebrity chef and judge is on this show as well, and they happen to fall in love. That's the plot of the book, largely. I'm not going to read the description because I've read it before, but I remember really enjoying this, and this being one of those moments where I was like, okay, maybe I can read contemporary romance and not hate it. I thought this was a pretty solid book, so I'm excited to read it again and see how I feel about it again. Next up, we have for AAPI author, Damned If You Do by Alex Brown. This is a young adult horror, I believe. It might be adult, I don't know. 7 years ago, Cordelia Scott's abusive father left without a word, and life has been normal ever since. The 17-year-old spends her days stage managing the school play, which is going great, pining over her best friend, and failing one too many pop quizzes. She's never been sad that her father left, but she knows that something is missing. When her school guidance counselor Fred reveals during a session that he's actually a demon, she learns that something is indeed a piece of her actual soul. Why? She unwittingly made a deal with him to make her father disappear, then bargained to have the memory erased. To make matters worse, Fred is here to make another deal to help him with a little demonic problem. She's might be doomed, otherwise, to spend eternity in hell with her father if she doesn't help. The deal? Help Fred neutralize a rival demon who means to do more harm in her hometown than your average demon deal. Great. Honestly, it seems a little silly, like in a fun horror way. I don't know if that makes sense. Next up, we have Choose Your Own Prompt, which I will be reading a nonfiction book for this. This just kind of allows me to try to read one of every genre like I do every month, so this is going to allow for that. I will be reading Accidentally on Purpose by Kristen Kish. Kristen Kish was a Top Chef season 10 winner and now hosts Top Chef, and this is just her memoir and kind of growing up and learning that she's queer and becoming a chef and all of those things. So that'll be good. That'll be good. Next up, this prompt is read a physically owned book, and it is Clear Your Shit inspired, and I do love that. Thanks, guys. I will be reading Dream on Ramona Riley by Ashley Herring Blake. This came in the Penguin Random House queer book box that I got during Pride in June, which, thank you, Penguin Random House, appreciate that a lot. Ramona Riley was a student at a prestigious art school with dreams of landing in Hollywood as a costume designer to the stars, but after her father's car accident, she quit school and returned to her small New Hampshire town, Clover Lake, to help take care of her younger sister. It has been 12 years since that happened. She's given up on all of her dreams. She's got nothing going for her. The big budget movie comes to Clover Lake to film. She wonders if this could be her chance because she wanted to be a fashion designer type thing for movies. Costume designer. That was the word I was looking for. There's only one problem. Dylan Monroe, her first kiss and Hollywood's favorite wild child, is in fact the star. So with famous rock icons for parents, Dylan Monroe has always lived an unconventional life, but she wants to prove that she can stand on her own merits in Hollywood. So Dylan takes on a project at a charming lake town, and she even works at a local cafe, very quaint, shadowing a waitress there, very cute, whom she asks to take her around to do normal people things. Dylan soon realizes it's not just any small-town waitress she's getting to know. Ramona Riley is someone she's met before, someone who remembers her even more vividly. Before long, however, reality hits them, and both women must decide if the spark between them can fan the flames of their individual dreams, or if it will extinguish their light. We'll see. I do think this also, I don't know how old Ramona Riley is in this, but I do think this also could have probably fit for 40-plus main character. I don't know. Maybe she's in her 30s. She felt more aligned with my age, but I don't know for sure. Next up, and the last prompt that I've got here, we have trans femme main character, and I will be reading Roller Girl by Vanessa North. This book is about roller derby, so that's all that really matters to me. If you don't know, I love roller derby. So, recently divorced Tina Durham is trying to be self-sufficient, but her personal training career is floundering, her closest friends are swept up in new relationships, and her washing machine has just flooded her kitchen. Girl, that sucks. Instead, she calls a plumbing service. She decides to call a plumbing service, and Joe Mama Delario comes to the rescue. Joe is sweet, funny, and good at fixing things. She also sees something special in Tina and invites her to try out for the roller derby team that she coaches. Derby offers Tina an outlet for her frustration, a chance to excel, and the female friendship she's never had before. And as Tina starts to thrive at Derby, the tension between her and Joe cranks up. Despite their player-coach relationship, they give in to their mutual attraction. Sex and secret is hot, but Tina can't help but want more. I'm gonna skip those spice scenes, I just know it. With work still on the rocks and her relationship in the closet, Tina is forced to reevaluate her life. Can she be content with a secret lover, or with being dependent on someone else again? It's time for Tina to tackle her fears, both on and off track. We'll see. It seems interesting. So that's all of my picks for Sapphic September. So let's carry on with my normal rest of my TBR. I'm going to give you my series and all of those things. For my series continuations, because I am reading so many books in Sapphic September, I am actually only going to be reading one book, and it's just going to be the next book in the Discworld series that I've been reading from Terry Pratchett. I'll be reading Small Gods by Terry Pratchett. It is possibly about the small gods that are within the Discworld. The descriptor of the book is not very clear, so I'm not even gonna, but that's the one I'm gonna be reading. For the rest of the books that I will be reading, there's actually just 3 more, because I needed the genres. I didn't have these 3 genres in my Sapphic September picks, so I will be reading these 3 books. First up, for historical, I'll be reading The Gods Time Forgot by Kelsey Sheridan Gonzalez, which my brain wants to say The Time Gods Forgot, which I don't have any idea why. My brain keeps insisting on that. Manhattan, 1870. Rua knows only 2 things, her name and that she has no memories. So, when the wealthy Harrington family mistakes Rua for their missing daughter Emma, Rua goes along with the charade, hoping for answers about who she really is. As she tries to blend into the society she doesn't remember, she's drawn to a firmly off-limits Lord of Donor? A newcomer to Manhattan society who's somehow familiar to Rua. Finn is new to this side of the Atlantic and knows that the best way to fit in as Lord of Denor is to make friends in high places and play by the rules of society. He knows he shouldn't become involved with the mysterious, recently missing debutante, but he's intrigued by Emma Harrington, and Finn has an uncanny feeling that this isn't the first time they've met. With societal pressures mounting on both sides, Rua is determined to discover the truth about the missing Harrington daughter and her own past. But when her memories begin to return, they're a world far stranger than New York and traced in dark magic. As ancient secrets unfurl in Rua's memory, Rua and Finn are forced to uncover the mystery of their past and try to save their future. In, romantasy, historical romantasy. Cool. It fits the genre, fits the bill. That's what I'm going for. Next up for my thriller pick, I will be reading The Last Girl Standing by Jennifer Dugan. I've had this book forever and I just haven't read it. Sloane and Cherry, Cherry and Sloane. They met only a few days before masked men with machetes attacked the summer camp where they worked, a massacre that left the rest of their fellow counselors dead. Now, months later, the two are inseparable, their traumatic experience bonding them in ways no one else can understand. But as new evidence comes to light and Sloane learns more about the motives behind the ritual killing that brought them together, she begins to suspect that her girlfriend may be more than just a survivor. She may have actually been a part of it. Cherry tries to reassure her, but Sloane only becomes more distraught. Is this gaslighting or reality? Is Cherry a victim or a perpetrator? Is Sloane confused, or is she seeing things clearly for the very first time? Against all odds, Sloane survived that hot summer night. But will she survive what comes next? So, the way I reacted, it seemed like I hadn't ever read what this book was about. I just forgot. And then for my classic pick, I will be reading Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. I don't know if this is fully technically considered a classic, but I'm considering it a classic. This was one of my mother's favorite books. She bought it for me as a child. I have read it before. I just barely remember it. And it is a children's, young adult-ish, middle grade-ish book. But I will be reading it as my classic pick for this month.
Hey, Editing Andy here. Just a quick heads up. This book does use a non-politically correct term for Native Americans, and I am reading the back of it when I'm describing the book. So just as a heads up for awareness, I am aware that that is not the appropriate term to use. That is just the term that is being used in this book.
In the Pacific, there is an island that looks like a big fish sunning itself in the sea. Around it, blue dolphins swim, otters play, and the seabirds abound. Once, Indians also lived on the island, and when they left and sailed to the east, one young girl was left behind. Sorry, it's for the politically incorrect terms here. Karana is the Indian girl who lived alone for years on the island of the Blue Dolphins. Year after year, she waited for a ship to rescue her. But while she waited, she kept herself alive by building shelter, making weapons, finding food, and fighting her enemies, the wild dogs. Hers is not only an unusual adventure of survival, but also a tale of natural beauty and personal discovery. This may be so deeply out of pocket and not politically correct, but I don't remember. I read it as a child, and it was really important to my mom growing up, so I'm excited to read this also. And that's it. It's a lot of books, but that is everything I will be reading for September, hopefully. Hopefully I get through all of it. I usually do. Very rarely do I not get through all of my books. So hopefully I get through all of it. I'm excited to participate in Sapphic September again. It is a good way for me to get into the readathon mindset before I enter Clear Your Shit season again, which I will have some information about coming soon. So with that all being said, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If you want to read any of these books or you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below. I love talking about them with you guys. And I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, except for the full week of the month. So I will see you later this week. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.